Hey folks, I'm Alex Dowd.
And I'm Katie Rife.
Today we're talking about the reboot of Dr. Dolittle, starring Robert Downey Jr.
Welcome to Film Club.
So we're definitely living in an era of studio filmmaking where intellectual property is king.
Yes, the barrel is being scraped.
That's right.
many times over.
Yeah. The studios are sort of looking for any dormant property that they can turn into a new franchise. Mm-hmm. And they're going this time to the well of Dr. Dolittle. That is Hugh Lofting's classic family-friendly character. He's a doctor who has the magical power to speak to animals. Mm-hmm. His first big screen appearance was in the 1967 musical starring Rex Harrison.
A disastrous musical, right?
Yes, it was a huge flop for the studio, lost them a good amount of money. I mean, in 1967 terms anyway, probably $10 million or something,
right.
Which is now nothing. But in 1967,
well, you know, they weren't working with, not everything had a $400 million budget. The stakes were lower.
Nothing
right?
did, in fact.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. Not a hit at the time, but
right.
was still managed to get a Best Picture nomination, and had a big enough cultural footprint that they revived it in 1998 with Eddie Murphy. That film was successful. It spawned a sequel, and as I learned through doing a little research today, 3 direct-to-video follow-ups that do not feature Eddie Murphy, but follow his daughter's character.
Wow. It's interesting that you mentioned that because those were 2 big transition periods. Like 1967, the classic studio system was dying.
Yes.
And I think it's very telling that the Oscars nominated it for Best Picture anyway, in light of yesterday's Oscar nomination.
Yeah.
Same old, right? And then Eddie Murphy's Dr. Dolittle, that's when he was transitioning into doing pretty much exclusively family films. So yeah, Dr. Dolittle is a character that perhaps foretells doom for the actor who plays him.
Well, I think Robert Downey Jr. is probably hoping that that's not the case.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But this is a period of transition for him as well. He is officially done playing Tony Stark for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's still a huge movie star. I remember talking with you about this before we saw this film, saying like, why is Robert Downey Jr. doing this film? Like, what is he getting out of this? I had read something that this was a passion project for his.
Really?
Of his, yeah.
I understand the appeal of the character, especially for children, because, you know, a lot of children are really into animals, and it's kind of the ultimate fantasy to be able to talk to them.
Yep.
But if I had to put money on it, I would have said he would have gone back to Oscar bait, but...
Supposedly, I've also read that he basically is done with indie filmmaking as well, that he said something like, I don't want to do those kind of films anymore. He's a movie star, and I think at a certain point, some movie stars get into that line of work and get into that phase in their career, and that's basically all they want to do anymore.
You know, it's funny you bring that up because it reminds me of what this performance reminded me of the most, which was Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean as Jack Sparrow. Johnny Depp is another actor who, you know, if he doesn't have 6 assistants, he's not going to do it anymore.
Yep. Yeah, he made that same transition where he was largely in small films, and now Depp, you know, you won't catch Depp outside of a blockbuster at this point. I guess unless Kevin Smith is directing it.
And even
and his daughter's in it as well.
Yes, for his daughter. Yes.
Yeah. Downey plays Dr. Dolittle, the famous doctor who can speak to animals. Unlike the Murphy films, which set the story in contemporary times, this one goes back to the 1800s. This incarnation of the story, which is based on the second book in Hugh Lofting's source material, his series of novels. I believe it's The Voyages of Dr. Dolittle.
Okay.
He's basically a recluse.
Right.
He's living in this giant mansion with these animals. He's basically given up on the human species.
Yeah, he's in like a animal preserve that's somewhere in the country in Victorian England. It's almost like a secret garden kind of thing where you don't know it's there unless you stumble on it.
Totally. Because these characters need a defining traumatic motivation. He's been given a wife who dies at sea, which we learn.
Good old dead wife.
That's right.
Gotta love a dead wife.
We learned that through, I would say, the best moment of this entire film, which is an animated prologue that's actually quite beautiful.
I kind of liked the animated prologue.
It's very nice. I was like, oh, this is a promising start.
Sometimes to get your hopes up with the animated prologue.
That's right. So his wife dies at sea, and he's now a recluse. He does not see humans anymore. But through a series of events, basically the Queen of England comes calling. She's very sick. He has to go on this adventure.
He's a vet, though. That's one of my big questions. He's a veterinarian. Why is the Queen of England calling him in?
Well, I think he was a doctor before. This is unclear.
Good answer.
This is unclear.
It's not explained.
So he goes on an adventure. He brings along a lot of his sort of nattering menagerie.
Yeah. I I've thought a fair amount about his performance in this film, and the best I can figure, because it's really just laden with tics.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of like snuffling and shuffling and kind of moving his head from side to side like a twitchy squirrel, and I think he's trying to give the impression of a human who spends a lot of time around animals and has forgotten how to be a human.
Oh, so he's antisocial.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found it kind of an incoherent characterization, to be honest.
It's extremely incoherent. Yeah. I think I'm stretching by putting that characterization on.
What accent is he doing? Is it Scottish?
Supposedly he's Welsh.
Oh, he's Welsh.
I don't know enough Welsh people to say whether
that's the thing. I don't know if that's
not.
Me not knowing that accent well enough to know if he's doing it well.
Yeah.
Or if, because nothing about his characterization struck me as particularly thought out, particularly well formed, particularly coherent. He never really finds a character for Dolittle. I mean, when we meet him, he's supposed to be kind of a grump. You know?
Yeah,
he's dealing with his grief.
He doesn't like humans.
Right.
He just doesn't want to be around humans at all. He prefers the company of animals.
But Downey won't commit to that prickliness.
No.
Which is interesting because I feel like when playing Tony Stark, for example, in his superstar role, he's more than willing to make Tony this somebody who's sometimes actively off-putting. And I feel like this is a movie that was not willing to embrace the idea that Dr. Dolittle could be kind of an asshole, you know?
Right.
Because, I mean, you talk about him, like, lacking social skills because he doesn't talk to humans. I think that is a coherent, like, character choice that you could make. But the movie doesn't, it's not like the movie follows through on that.
No.
Once they're on the open sea, he's just kind of doing...
It's almost like he's high, and he's seeing things that other people aren't seeing, and it just kind of... moving his head around. And you know what? Again, probably giving Dolittle too much credit here, but he hears things other people don't hear, so maybe there's something there.
The film is populated by a number of, has a very large voice cast, a lot of famous actors coming in.
Obligatory celebrity animal voices,
There's a lot of comedians who are playing his various animal friends. There's a certain, more than a certain, there's a real flop sweat quality to the comedy in this film.
Oh, totally.
Very manic.
It stinks of punch-up.
Yes, well, and there were apparently a good 21 days of reshoots on this. Supposedly one of the notes they were getting from test audiences who didn't like the film was that it wasn't funny enough.
Okay.
And this definitely feels like a film that every couple minutes is concerned that we're not laughing enough, so it's giving us a joke.
Yep.
And a lot of it is really labored.
There was exactly one joke in it that I thought was kind of cute.
What was that?
It's a sequence where Dr. Dolittle is it's a man-eating tiger, and he uses a mirror like a laser pointer, and the tiger chases
I laughed at
the
that
laser
too.
Around.
That's animal-specific humor.
Yes, that's an animal
kind of
joke.
Funny,
Yeah,
because a lot of them are
point.
just being like these nattering. Like
A lot
Kumail
of it's
Nanjiani is in it, and he's playing this ostrich, and I like Kumail normally, and I did not enjoy his comic riffs in this film. I think the Pirates comparison is pretty apt, honestly. This felt like those movies.
Even the production design had a lot of similarities.
Well, there's a lot of it's on the sea. It's very busy. It's very loud. There's a lot of CGI in this film. Notably, the original Dr. Dolittle was one of the reasons it was such a disaster was that there were a lot of actual live animals on set.
God.
That would probably be an amusing set to witness. And this one, they're all CGI creations and often look like CGI creations. The
very
CGI
much.
in this is very inconsistent.
The CGI is not very good in this movie.
Right.
And, post Planet of the Apes, there really isn't an excuse to have animals that don't look like animals.
I guarantee this thing cost an insane amount of money, so if you're going to spend that kind of money, at least make the animals look right.
Yeah.
I will say I liked that they were a little more expressive than the animals in The Lion King. Like I'm really.
It's not a flattering comparison.
It's not. But even the Pirates films, as directed by Gore Verbinski, have a certain sort of mad dash energy to them.
And the manic characterization makes a little more sense in the Pirates movies.
For sure.
So what you're saying, Dowd, is that the original Dr. Dolittle had animals pooping all over the floor. And this Dr. Dolittle has a lot of CGI animals making poop jokes.
I'm not saying that, but I agree with that. All right, folks, thanks for watching today. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to like and subscribe. We will be back with some thoughts on 1917. That's Sam Mendes' new Oscar-nominated World War I movie. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.